What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid fade on my boy, so stay tuned. Since he has curly hair, we started off by saturating the hair and combing everything in place, making sure everything's nice and neat, and then we're gonna move on to our gold FX and create our first guideline. It's always best to contour the guideline to their head shape so that the fade can flow better and be more unique. Now that we're done balding them out, we're going to move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Also, we're going to then use the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline we created with our gold FX. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and then get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard and its lever, we can then move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. This is going to officially connect the 1 guard all the way open to the no guard all the way open. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on Instagram, or go ahead and subscribe to the membership down below. With this membership, you're going to gain access to private lives and private videos and one-on-one class sessions. As you guys can see, we're moving on to our 2 guard all the way open and we're going to create our 4th guideline. This is going to help us get ready for our 1.5 guard and blend between the 1 guard all the way open to the 2 guard all the way open. Now that we're done with our 2 guard and our 1.5 guard, we're going to move on to our 3 guard all the way open and flick out as much as possible. Moving on to our clipper over comb method, we're going to make sure the silhouette is nice and neat and boxy. Also making sure there's no flyaway hairs, no hairs poking out through the side, and everything's nice and flush to the even fade. Using your horizontal cuts to debulk and your vertical cuts to blend is very crucial when using clipper over comb. It's also critical to make sure that the hair is nice and damp when using clipper over comb so you can pick it up nice and easy. Now that we're done with our clipper over comb method, we're going to go back to our lower guards and detail as much as possible, especially with our no guard all the way open. Moving on to the back of the fade, we're going to use our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline at the bottom. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We are right on top of the occipital bone here, so you want to make sure you spend more time here in detail as much as possible. Now that we're done softening up the line with our one guard and its lever, we can move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. This is going to help us blend between our no guard all the way open and our one guard all the way open. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. This guideline is going to help us blend in with our 1.5 guard. As you guys can see, now that the guideline is soft enough, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Using our clip roll comb method and our horizontal and vertical cuts, we're going to debulk and blend the hair in the back, connecting it to our fade on the bottom. You want to make sure to be careful because you could make an indentation with your clip roll comb method, so you want to make sure your silhouette is nice and full. Now that we're done saturating the hair, we can move on to our shears. And we're going to go ahead and grab the hair with our comb, holding it with our fingers, and cutting it with our shears. So we feed the hair into our fingers with our comb, and then cut it with our shears. You also want to make the hair that you grab is even with the hair that you grabbed previously. Each part should be equal and also cut at a certain angle, whichever angle is needed depending on where you're cutting on the head. If you're cutting near the occipital bone or you're cutting near the silhouette area on the edges, you have to cut at a certain angle, blending in the hair into the hair on the other side. Again, you're combing the hair into your fingers, you're holding it tight, and you're cutting it with your shears. Now that we're done with our shear work on top, we can move on to the front line and comb all of his hairs down, facing the direction that they grow. Now that the hairs are laid down, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and go with the grain, debulking them. Since we're done debulking the hair, we can move on to our hairspray and make sure that all the hairs are stiff and that they don't shift when using our Goat FX. Moving on to our Goat FX, we're going to start off at the middle and work our way to the sides, going as slow as possible, making sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. Usually if you don't go slow enough, the hair's going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. When you're lining up C-cups, you always want to start off at the bottom and work your way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. You also want to make sure you're not pressing too hard because you could bite them with the teeth of the trimmer, especially if you're using Goat FX. we were done finishing the other side, we then moved on to our gold FX, and we're repeating the same process, making sure everything's nice and even and matched. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on Instagram, or go ahead and subscribe to the membership down below. With this membership, you're going to gain access to private lives and private videos and one-on-one class sessions. We're then going to line up the mustache. I always start off at the outer edge and then work my way to the inner edge of the mustache. Then with the goatee, I always like to use my headrest and make them lay down so that they're nice and still and they're not moving while I'm lining up their beard. Now that we're done shaving off the hair from his face, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derber premium blades and make him as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're going to apply some shave gel so that the razor can glide better. Now that we're done applying the shave gel, we're going to keep the razor at a 45-degree angle for the most part and use our opposite hand to pull the skin and keep it as taut as possible. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid taper on my boy, so stay tuned. We're starting off with our 3 guard all the way closed, and we're gonna debulk the top and make sure everything's nice and even. You also want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair's gonna pull and then you're gonna hurt the client. Now that we're done evening out the top, we're going to move on to the back taper and start off with our gold FX and create our first guideline. You want to contour this guideline to the neck shape so that the taper could flow better. Also, it's going to give them more unique taper. Now that we're done budding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make this guideline around an inch thick so you can spread the blend. Once we're done setting in that guideline, we're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline at the bottom. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on Instagram. Also, I do have the membership program down below, so if you guys want extra content and private sessions, go ahead and subscribe to that. As you guys can see, we moved down to our 1 guard all the way open and we made our 3rd guideline. This is going to help us blend into our 2 guard all the way open. We're also using the lever in this same guard to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line, we're going to move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. Now that we're done softening up the guideline we made with the 2 guard all the way open, we could then move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. This is going to blend into our 1 guard all the way open. Now I'm going back to my 3 guard all the way closed, and I'm going to make sure everything's nice and even, especially near the occipital bone. It's always best to go back in detail as much as possible, especially with your previous guards. Now that we're done with the back, we can move on to the side taper, and we can use our Gold FX to create our first guideline. We're also contouring this guideline to his head shape, and we're also going to make sure we arch it enough so that the taper has a little burst. Now that we're done bonding him off with our Gold FX, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're also going to use the lever midway and all the way close to erase the line completely. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline with our lever, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. It's going to help us blend into our no guard all the way open. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. As you see here, we're moving on to our 1.5 guard, and we're going to use this guard to soften up this line and get ready for the 1 guard all the way open. As you guys can see, we're detailing it as much as possible with our previous guards, especially the 1 guard all the way open and the 1.5 guard. Heading on over to the side, we're going to use our Gold FX to line up the side and go up to the top arch using the corners of the blade. Moving on to the front line, we're going to use the Gold FX to start off at the middle and work our way to the sides. When you're lining some of them up, you always want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, especially when you're using your Gold FX. Moving on to the C cup, I always start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. You also want to make sure you don't press too hard because you could bite them with the teeth of the trimmer and leave them with a rash. Moving on to the beard, we're going to use our clippers to shape it up and cut the bottom. As you guys can see, I'm shaping up the beard from the bottom and I'll work on my way to the sides, making it as sharp as possible. It's very important to go slow and make sure you shape up the beard properly, especially when you're using your clippers. We're going to make sure we knock the mustache down so one guard all the way open. Usually the mustache is so thick that a one guard all the way open is dark enough to make the beard look full. Moving on to the lips, we're going to use our Gold FX to line it up. I always start